Hi, morning everyone, and thank you so much for coming to our first program of our High Impact Writing Workshop series. First and foremost, I'd like to say a very big thank you to Associate Professor Dr. Adnan Akhundzada for so kindly agreeing to conduct this series of 12 workshops, which we hope to run on a monthly basis. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce our facilitator. Associate Professor Dr. Adnan Akhundzada is a senior member of the IEEE as well as the professional member of the ACM with 13 years of extensive R&D experience both in the ICT industry and academia. He has a proven track record of high-impact published research, including US patents, journals, transactions, reputable magazines, and book chapters, as well as commercial products. He has a Scopus H index of 17, 66 publications, and more than 970 citations. He was previously an assistant professor at Comsats University, Islamabad, senior researcher at RISE Sweden, research fellow and scientific lead at DTU Compute, Technical University of Denmark, course director ethical hacking at the Knowledge Hub, Coventry University, UK, and visiting professor having mentorship of graduate students and supervision of academic and R&D projects both at the UG and PG levels. He has vast experience in high-impact journal publishing, serving as associate editor for IEEE Access, Telecommunication Systems, and IEEE IT Professional. He is an ABET program evaluator, PI, and co-PI of several Swedish and Horizon 2020 EU-funded projects. His main research interests are in cybersecurity, secure future internet, machine learning, large-scale distributed systems, IoT, IoE, and Industry 4.0. Dr. Adnan, for our workshop this morning, we will start off with 45 minutes to 1 hour for your talk, and then followed by Q&A and some hands-on activities, and we will conclude this program latest by 12 p.m. If I may now hand over to Dr. Adnan as the speaker and facilitator for this workshop. Over to you, Dr. Adnan. Thank you.
And hi everyone, greetings to all of you. Am I audible to all of you? Can you hear me?
A bit slow, Dr. Adnan.
Bit slow. Okay, so let me go with hello and hi everyone. Am I audible to all of you?
Okay, much better now, Dr. Adnan. Thank you.
Okay, so greetings to all of you and everyone. It is a pleasure meeting all of you and to discuss how to publish in high-impact magazines. So I believe this is a great opportunity for all of you. And because I have great experience of publishing in magazines and most of the avenues like transactions or journals. So I will be making this session extremely easy for you people. And I believe that this will be a great session of learning for all of you. So my first request to all of you is to have some certain notes with you so that you can write down most of the things that is quite easy and will be quite easy for you people to understand and go about it. My contact details are there and anyone can approach me. Before I go to start the study magazine, how publishing with high impact magazines, I can tell you that writing a paper is not a rocket science, and you need some skills, some specific skills to go about a specific venue. Actually, if I'm talking about a magazine is a specific venue, so every one of you needs some specific skills. So if you want to focus on this session, and we will be having some sort of like a brief hands-on on few things, you will learn every single thing you need to know about publishing in magazines. Particularly right now, we will have some other series on publishing like transactions and publishing with journals, publishing book chapters and all of that. But today, most particularly only on magazines. So the first thing I would like to see, why magazines? I will be asking all of you, why magazines? And why my first lecture or my first workshop I have organized on magazines. You will be astonished to listen to the answer, like it is the most easiest thing to publish. The most easiest one. I can literally tell you even easier than a conference paper. But at the same time, the impact is so huge. I will be showing you what is the impact. So why to target magazines and why it is so easy. That will be the first thing we will be discussing. The code recipe, I mean, what is exactly you need to know and how to organize and plan a magazine paper. What is the formula of publishing in high impact? That is extremely important slide in this workshop actually. Then I will be having some practical demonstration of my own tutorial and regular magazines paper. We will have some sort of like practical demonstration of writing a regular magazine paper and writing a review magazine paper. And I will be also discussing how to write an abstract systematically with magazines, because every venue is different. Like if you're writing the abstract of a transaction paper, that is entirely different. However, we will go with a slight variation with every the rest of the body of the paper and finally the conclusion. And I will be also showing you how to target a magazine actually. Targeting a magazine with tutorial papers or targeting a magazine with regular papers. So this all will be in today's session. So try to have like to keep your focus and to be more motivated, and please stop me anytime you want. Okay, if anyone having any question, you can simply stop me and you can throw your question and ask your question so that we can go smoothly with the session. So the first thing is why magazines? This is quite important. Why magazines? Whether that could be IEEE Communication Magazine or IEEE Network Magazine or IEEE IT Professional Magazine or IEEE Consumer Electronics Magazine. You name a magazine and I can literally tell you why it is so easy to publish here. The first thing is it is easy to compose. Like the section of the magazines is quite easy to compose. So if I can tell you literally, and if I'm going to write by myself a magazine paper, it will not be more than 2 weeks. And you can name a magazine that I need to target. It cannot take, for myself, it cannot take more than 2 weeks. But from the audience side, I don't know the level of all of you, but it is not a big deal, I can tell you. Maybe for some people it can go with 1 month or some 1.5 month maximum, no more than that one. The second thing is it is easy to organize. The sections are very well defined. Every magazine has a very well defined organization. For example, there is an abstract, there is intro, there is a bit of like the body of the paper, which is like sort of, in case of regular paper, it could be methodology, the experimental setup and preliminary results, and then the conclusion. But I will be showing you how to organize and what are the sections. The third very important thing is the magazine word limitation. So the magazine maximum word limitation is 4,500. In some cases, like IEEE IT Professional is getting like around 4,200 words. IEEE Communication Magazine is around 4,000 words, which is very easy to write. I mean, 4,000 words is nothing like. There is also some mathematical limitations of every magazine. You cannot go to have like mathematical formulas more than 3. It is not allowed. So you don't need to come up with mathematical modeling and sort of thing. So that's also the most easiest thing to come up and writing a magazine paper, okay? Paper size limitations are somewhere in some of the magazines. You cannot go beyond 4 pages. That is another one. Reference limitations, most of the magazines, particularly the communication magazines, the IEEE magazines, you cannot go beyond 15 references, okay? So 15 is very, very less actually. And it is quite easy to write it and to go about it. So this part is also 15 is nothing, is very easy. Table limitations, you cannot exceed 3 tables, no more than 3 tables, and graph limitation so 3. So table plus graphs cannot be so in case of like why there is a graph limitation, I have a question to all of you. Why there is a graph limitation in magazines? So the answer is like because magazines only preliminary results, okay, initial results. Most of the regular papers are presenting very initial results, and then if you are successful to publish your initial results, you can build upon and you can go with a journal paper or a transaction paper. So in that case, there is graph limitations and there are table limitations. So together with tables and graphs, you cannot exceed 6, okay? Short tutorial. So if you are planning to have a tutorial magazine paper, that is the easiest one for all of you. I encourage everyone, whether you are a student or you are a faculty member or you are an early career researcher, I would like to encourage you to start from today. After this this session, you can start your short tutorial paper. And I will be sharing my experience and my tutorial papers and my regular papers on different magazines. And that will be a huge encouragement. And I can make this session so easy for you that you will be happy to go and write about a magazine paper actually. Preliminary research. If you can see the preliminary research, all of the regular magazine papers are only carrying preliminary research. This is a venue where you cannot publish your mature research actually. For mature research, you go about transactions or journals, particularly transactions, okay? And that's again a new thing and again a very easy thing. For example, if you get like 2 to 3 graphs initially and your initial experimentations are going well and promising, showing some promising results or somehow close to promising results, you can start your tutorial paper, okay? Now, I have some another motivation of why magazines paper. This is again very important to tell you why magazine paper, okay? So if I can go with and I can show you my screen. So if I can show, you can see my screen and I can show you some of the magazines, some of the magazines. For example, I can show you IEEE Wireless Communication magazine. So if you see the impact factor is 11.976 on the screen, okay, which is a huge impact factor actually, a very huge impact factor. And if you are able to target such magazine, this will the university will having a great impact and the university will be globally recognized because this is quartile 1 and tier 1 magazines. And if you click like on other magazines, you will have like different kind of impact factors. So I will be sharing my papers on IEEE network, which is like around 10.6 impact factor, and that is huge. And I will also be sharing my paper on IEEE Communication magazine, which is 9.6.19. So I have actually put the references of these magazines. These are basically tier 1 magazines, okay? But there are so many magazines around, and the impact varies basically. But targeting these high impact factors even are quite easy. Are you listening to me? That targeting even this high impact magazines are quite easy. So don't be don't be astonished. I'm telling you like that it is quite easy. It is easy. It is literally very easy. And I'm again telling you people that all of you that this should be your starting point for the early career researchers and for all of you. Besides writing a conference paper, this can carry a huge impact, and you can also fulfill your KPIs. Your research KPIs can easily be fulfilled with this area. So I will be going after this with some of the code recipe is this slide. This slide is very, very important. Okay. This slide is extremely important because you will know the code recipe, the extreme code recipe, and very few people will talk about this thing. Very, very few people. So I'm not talking about the planning. I'm not talking about the organization. I'm actually talking about the code, the actual code, how to go about a tutorial paper and how to go about a regular paper. So I will be, after this slide, I will be giving you practical demonstrations of my papers, okay? So the first and the foremost important thing when you are going to write a tutorial paper, whether you are writing on software-defined networks or whether you are writing on software-defined vehicular networks or IoTs or could be any area, you name an area. And then the first and the foremost thing is you need to provide a simplified overview of the architecture, whether that could be any architecture or whatever you are writing about it. For example, if you are writing on University Malaysia Sabah, a tutorial paper, you need to have a simplified overview how the organization works actually. What is the hierarchy actually? And if you are just writing on the Faculty of Computing and Informatics, a tutorial paper, you need to come up with a simplified overview. Why a simplified overview? Because tutorial paper should be extremely easy. The first and the foremost thing is tutorial papers should be understandable because these are magazines paper and any reader can read it. Okay, keep in mind that the audience of the tutorial paper can be anyone. If I'm going to tell you about the transaction papers have always special audience. Okay, like right now anyone can be my audience because I'm giving you so simple sort of like things. You don't need to have a prerequisites actually. But if I start with a transaction paper, I need special audience who have some sort of like existing background on research, because otherwise they won't be able to grasp it. So the audience of any magazine paper can be everyone, because you know the communication magazine is published in the US, and any reader can see what is coming on, what IT technology is coming in, what is coming new in this area. And that's why if you Google on different magazines and you see the special issues, like special issues appearing in 2021 will have huge impact on 2022 and until 2025 or 2030, because magazine always discusses the current and the latest things. Okay, but tutorial paper is quite easy, and you can literally target any magazine or with the following code recipe. Okay, so you need, the first thing you need a simplified overview. That is the first code. Okay, and that should be followed by taxonometric classification. Taxonometric classification is basically if I draw the hierarchy of Faculty of Computing, like starting from the dean and then the directors and the rest, that is known as the classification. If I sketch it and if I diagrammatically represent it, that is known as taxonometric classification. So a simplified overview followed by a taxonometric classification gives you a greater strength for all the readers, for any kind of readers. Okay. The second thing is you must be having tutorial-based analysis. Whatever I'm talking about tutorial paper right now, not regular paper. So if you're writing about the Faculty of Computing and Informatics, University Malaysia Sabah, The tutorial based analysis will be like, what are the strengths of the organization? Okay, what are the strengths of the department? What are the pros and cons of the departments? And some great analysis that every reader is actually going about it, and every reader must be interested in it. So you need to bring some analysis that the reader should be interested about it. Are you getting me, every one of you? So the second code recipe for a tutorial paper is that you must have something that you bring about that every reader should have some attraction on that one. I mean, you should not be on the past actually. You should not just write a review paper is all about the past, okay? But a tutorial paper is a mix of somehow the current and the future actually. So it combines two things. One is the current and the second one is the future. So tutorial based analysis which highlights some of the future and something that gives attraction to any kind of reader will be a great code recipe for a tutorial paper. It will be one of the most important thing to be included in a tutorial paper. Okay, apart from these two, you must have like great diagrammatic skills. You need to draw some great diagrams. Your representation of diagrams must be very good. Since magazine papers are very attractive in presentation, so you need to have some great diagrammatic sketching skills. Okay? And I can suggest you that if you draw like in eDraw is basically a place where you can draw diagrams and sketches. Okay? That will be a great tool. I personally try professional eDraw, and I believe it is a great platform. But you can follow so many. There are so many out there, and I personally like it because I have a great experience in that one. And if you see my magazines paper, and if you see the sketches and the diagrams, all of them are basically made in eDraw. So eDraw, a professional eDraw, is a great sketching and diagrammatic tool. The fourth ingredients. These are one of the most important ingredients. Without this one, you will not be able to publish a tutorial paper. Okay, so the fourth ingredient is future challenges. You must include future challenges of any tutorial paper in a magazine. Otherwise, if you don't include future challenges, you will not get citations of your paper. So anywhere, if you are writing a journal paper or if you are writing a transaction paper, you must write somehow a bit of like future challenges or future remarks so that the reader is very much interested. Okay, my question is why I will be coming to read your magazine. Why because I need to grasp and I need to see the future challenges and where the future is going on. I'm interested in that one. And if that is missing, the first and the foremost thing the reviewer will be having huge like reservation on publishing that paper, because you are not promoting their magazines. Actually, no one will be coming to read your paper. So an important ingredient will be missing if you are not reporting future challenges. Okay, the final thing, the fifth ingredient of is basically for the regular paper. Okay, so you need what? You need architectural analysis and you need preliminary results. You don't need some great results or something, huge scale. No, just some very preliminary results, some very initial results that are extremely initial actually. But when you get the results, you know the power of the results, that it is going to be promising if you are extending the results towards a transaction or a journal paper. Okay, and before that one, bringing initial results, you must have some architectural analysis. The first question is what are you going to publish, and what is the gap actually? So the gap should be very clear from the architectural analysis. If you are presenting an architecture of software-defined networks, or if you are presenting a new architecture on Internet of Medical Things or Internet of Things or HCI or any sort of like new architecture, the existing architecture must be analyzed, that this gap is there. Okay, you must highlight a very clear gap, and then you can build on that one. If that is missing, then it is not easy for a common reader to grasp your paper, and that's why not be successful with high impact magazines. The thing is that architectural analysis and preliminary results are extremely important. So these 5 ingredients, one for the tutorial paper, one for the regular, and the other one for the tutorial papers. And these are very simple actually. If after this slide I will be showing my papers, and I will be somehow discussing and pointing out how it can go about, how we can go about it, and how we can write about it. Okay. So I have shared some my tutorial and regular papers with Prof. Jason, and that has been distributed among you. The soft copies has been distributed among you, and you can download it. But I will be sharing on my screen also. So my first paper I will be sharing like towards secure software-defined vehicular networks. So you see here, this is tutorial paper. So this is taxonomy, requirements, and open issues. Okay, and it is published in IEEE Communication Magazine. And when I published this magazine, it was the impact factor was around 10 plus, like it was 10.5, something like that. Okay. I will be also sharing another paper of mine that is securing cyberspace of future smart cities with 5G net technologies. This is published in IEEE network, which is currently having impact factor 11 point something. Okay. And then I will be sharing my paper on power and performance efficient software enabled fog architectures. Okay. This has been published in IEEE IT Professionals. And finally, I will be sharing my reducing power consumption wireless body area networks in IEEE Consumer Electronics magazine. So 2 on the tutorial papers and 2 on the regular papers. Okay, so that you can grasp and you can raise your questions, and you can literally raise your questions. Okay, so my papers are available on Google also, but I have shared all the soft copies of my paper with Prof. Jason. Okay, so if you see my screen, I can show you like some of my papers. So the first paper I would like to highlight is this is a magazine paper. Okay, and this is me. This is me actually. Okay, and this is one of my somehow my external supervisor, or somehow my colleague also. So I would start with what?
Sorry, Dr.
Okay.
Anand, can I just interrupt you for a minute? We cannot see your paper. It's still on the slide screen, still on the PowerPoint slides.
Okay, you are still. So can I share? How can I share my screen? Oh, let me. Is it possible that I can share my screen?
I think if you click on the share button, it lets you choose which window you want to share. If you click on the share button where you click on your slides just now, then you can select which
share content. Share content, or share web browser, or share the meeting window.
It should be in the window,
content.
the first one, the window.
Or the window.
If not, you can also show your entire.
I think you can see
the active one.
Now you can see my paper. Yeah.
Yes. Now we can see. Thank you.
Okay, that's great, Prof. Jason. Thank you for the help and guidance. Thank you very much, Prof. Okay, so I told you that why magazine paper are so easy. So if you see the magazine paper, and this is a basically tutorial paper, so it is extremely easy, and it is just very simple to write. Okay, so if you see the references are 15, and all the other ingredients, all the code recipe I will be discussing with you people. Okay, I will not go with the abstract and the rest of the things, but I will be just discussing apparently how easy it. Okay, so the paper is basically on software defined networks, which is right now an emerging area. We talk about like the driverless cars and becoming the emerging Tesla cars. So the paper is software-defined vehicular networks. This is basically an emerging topic. Okay, so what we do is, so the first thing is, when I told you the code recipe is a simplified overview. So this is basically a simplified overview with this one. So how I can build the module and where I have to build the module and in which plane I have to build the modules. I need to show this very clearly so that a common user can easily understand this one. So, you know, this is the common simplified overview of software-defined vehicular network. So this is V2V communication, okay, vehicular to vehicular and vehicular to infrastructure communication. And my module is built on the control plane, actually, okay? So these are the modules. You can build anything on the control plane. So this is any architecture, okay? If you are writing on Internet of Things or Internet of Medical, or writing an HCI, or you belong to any field or any software design related things, the overview must be so simple that a common user can easily understand it. A common user can easily understand that, okay? So in this case, I have also written it very, very easily. The wording of the magazine should be extremely easy to. Sometime in transaction paper, we can use some advanced scientific words, okay? But the magazine paper, the audience are for common people. Keep in mind that the audience are extremely common people. A common user can also grasp it, okay? So that was the first thing I told you. The first and the first common recipe is the simplified overview. And this diagram has been, I have drawn this diagram in eDraw. And it seems very good. And if you can see the Genware paper, it is quite attractive. The diagram is quite attractive, okay? Now coming to another thing, what I built is, I have told a top-down approach to address SDN security vulnerabilities, attacks, and challenges, okay? So the next thing is taxonometric classification, okay? This is another diagram which shows like a more simple overview of the control plane, like the diverse communication on the control plane, okay? So these things must be very well drawn, and you must have some great sketching and diagrammatic skills, okay? If I have a sort of a workshop on how to diagrammatic sketching or any tool, I can also help with that one. This is not a big deal and this is not a rocket science, okay? Take it easy. Take it so much easy, okay? So I draw it because I have to come up with some of the and the elevation stuff, so that it becomes extremely easy, like in the real environments, and anyone can grasp it, okay? So that's why I'm doing this, okay? And coming to the taxonometric classification, okay? So the paper is all about like the security vulnerabilities attacks, okay? So I come up with a top-down approach. Keep in mind, I'm coming up with a top-down approach, so I have to start with application layer and then control layer and then the data plane layer, okay? So what kind of security attacks are there? So if you see this one, this is a taxonometric classification, okay, of vulnerabilities attacks, and this is not, this is quite easy. If you read about different things in different papers, and you will be very early, you can very easily draw classification. So I would like it to I will be just showing this one, and then I can just skip the other one, okay? This is the second code recipe that you must have taxonometric classification for a tutorial. Paper. Okay, so I like application, server compromise, and open development environment. So everyone has, like, for example, Malign application have like internal storage manipulation, and this has been extended to unauthorized access, okay? Resource exhaustion, so memory consumption can be easily exploited. Nested applications, like if you are using, like in your coding, nested loops, it can easily be targeted with unauthorized access and service chain interference. So you need to be very careful what kind of nested loops are you using, okay, in the development. So, and some of the inside control messages of the SDN, like flow control, flow control rule notification. I'm doing it because I have a very good understanding of the software-defined network. So this was basically my PhD topic, and I have all my implementations on a commercial SDN. But what I'm to that this and I took this knowledge from reading about these ones. So this is not a big deal actually to coming up with a taxonomy. This is one of the easiest thing to come up with a taxonometric classification. However, you need to have some knowledge, some good knowledge of the area where you are working on. Okay. So if you see the paper is all about 4 taxonometric classification: control layer, then external communication APIs, then data layer, the upper data plane layer, and then finally the aggregation plane, the control plane, the data plane. The data plane is basically divided into extended plane, and that is very clear, like in the first diagram. And then we have an API. So coming here to the first diagram, you see this one is the data plane, and the data plane is divided into 2 ones. So lower data plane and upper data plane. So a common user, when read my paper, he can easily get into it, and he can literally reflect on all the things actually. Okay, and the rest is there is no diagrams. Okay, and the references are just like what? The references are just 15 references. So that is quite easy. Just 15 references, 4,000 words. And this is quite easy than writing even a conference paper with some results or some initial tutorial based or review based conference papers. You need just a bit of extension. Any questions so far? If you have any question, please write down your question. We will be having some question answer session. Okay. The second paper. Can you see my screen right now?
Yeah, I can see the screen, but I think it's still on your first paper, is it? Okay, now it's shifting already. Okay.
Yeah, it is the second paper. Okay, so the paper is about securing the cyberspace of future smart cities with 5G technologies. Okay, this paper has been published in IEEE network, which I show you right now. The impact factor is around 11. 11 is a huge impact factor. Okay. So I can tell you again the code recipe. I just need to show you what is the code recipe in this case. Okay. Again, a very attractive diagram and simplified overview. Again. Okay, and the contributions of this work, the contribution in each paper, whether I'm talking about journal paper or magazine paper or conference paper, the contribution should be very clearly written. What is your contributions? That is the most important thing for any paper. So I didn't highlight it as a code recipe because this is a coding for all things. Even if you are writing a chapter, the contribution should be very clear. Even if you are writing a white paper, the contributions and things should be very, very clear. Conference paper, magazines paper, journal paper, transaction paper. So again, the code recipe is a simplified overview. Okay, this is a simplified overview. Okay, then again, I have bit like coming again like to make it. Then again, I have some sort of taxonometric classification. You see there, this is again a top-down approach on different. This is SDR, software-defined radio. Okay, so I come up with again a layered architecture of a taxonomy actually. So taxonometric classification. For example, I told you that what is the hierarchy of the Faculty of Computing and Informatics, and if you sketch it and if you draw it in a diagram, that is known as taxonomy of the department actually. So it is quite easy, but you need to have some knowledge on that area. Okay, so I draw taxonometric classification of every layer actually, taxonomy of RFID, security vulnerabilities, and these are basically the critical parts of 5G network actually. And I come up with a lot of like different takes, okay? And some of these attacks I have exploited here. Some of the attacks on W wireless sensor network. So I have taken the 4 major key ingredients of a 5G network or smart city ingredients, and like ACK flooding and hello flooding and black hole attacks and all of that. So this is just a sort of like tutorial page, okay? Again, this is quite easy. In this case, you see only one table. So the total diagrams plus the table must be 6, okay? You can go with 1 table or 2 tables with maximum figures no more than 6. Everything no more than 6. So if you have great diagrams and 1 table for analysis or something, that is maximum. And the wording is, the words must not increase like 4,000. So 4,000 is just like if you are writing like 3 pages, sometimes becomes more than even a small paragraph of like 5 lines can be around 500 words. So the wording is easy. The composition is quite easy. The writing is easy. You just need a bit of guidance and a bit of knowledge on the area where you are right now working on, okay? So that is the code recipe. Now, this is done, okay? For tutorial papers, I have shared some my other tutorial papers. You can also see this one. This is also published in IEEE Communication Magazine, and you can have like the code recipes. You can observe the code recipes, okay? And if you can see the diagrams and all that stuff, you see this diagram. I have drawn it in potential targets on SDN on different layers and how to target like each node. And if you see this diagram, this one, all these are, this is basically a commercial vertex, open vertex, and then I did some of these. So you see the diagrammatic sketching things is the main ingredient everywhere. And the text scenarios, I have represented it with diagrammatically. So if you go and represent writing 1,000 words, 1,000 words can satisfy one diagram actually. So Magazine is all about like sketches, great diagrams, because you need to avoid wording, okay? You need to avoid wording, and that's why you need some great diagrammatic skills too. And you need to present it so simple that a common user can easily grasp it. Everywhere, whenever you are writing, you must need to know who are your audience, who are you targeting actually. So for a magazine, the common users and the common readers are your audience actually, not specific users, okay? So you can see this one also, the maximum references is 15. You cannot go beyond 15. You cannot go beyond 3 formulas, 3 mathematical formulas. You cannot represent mathematical sort of like modeling in magazines. So you don't need to go about a lot. You don't need to go with the huge sort of like contributions, just normal contributions, okay? And sometimes it is just 2 or 3 contributions, okay? So if you see my paper, I always write the contributions here. These are 4 contributions, okay? Very, very simple contributions to be done. Now I would like to show you how to write a regular magazine paper, okay? So if you see this paper, this is the power and performance efficient SDN-enabled FOG architecture. So this is a new architecture, and the architecture is basically FOG architecture, fog computing architecture. But fog computing architecture is basically decentralized, and I want a centralized architecture. So again, what is the code recipe, the maximum code? So I have only 3 contributions. You see here 3 contributions, but very promising. So the first thing is, I told you that you must be giving like a great overview, okay? So I have implemented the code here, okay, on the control plane, okay? So this is multi-domain SDN fog controller. So this is very clear why we take multi-domain SDN fog controller, okay? The fog controller could be like open daylight, or could be like floodlight. So the code is written on the control plane, okay? So you need to give what is your sort of like what you are going to evaluate. You need to talk it very clearly. So I am evaluating cooperating fog computing or non-cooperating fog computing, okay? In one case. In the other case, there are some policies that I need to. So how your fork selection server is done. So if you see, the paper is very easily organized. The first thing is the proposed SDN fork architecture. So I have written like I told you that whenever you're writing a regular paper, you must need to focus on architectures, and you need to come up with the pros and cons of the existing architecture, the gaps of the existing architecture. And you need to have a very good flow of the paper, okay? So first I have shown them the existing architectures, like you see that these are the architectures, okay? And I have written all of that. I have written previously in a table, but you cannot write a lot on IEEE Professional Magazine. Professional Magazine is having a lot of like limitations, both on the words, the size, the tables. Okay, so this one, then I talked about what I'm going to do it. Okay, so again I have to show you the experimental setup. Like normally this should be written so simple. You should not go in a very detailed way because you have limits on the word size. That is one trick of trick is okay. You need to write big things in small text actually. So you must have that sort of like skills. So evaluation metrics and all that setup has been done. And then if you see like very preliminary result, one on the processing and response time of cooperating or non-cooperative fork. And the second one is average power consumption. Okay, and then I have written open issues and challenges. Do I mind to ask you a question? Why I put like on a regular paper open issues and challenges and fork-based SDN computing? Anyone in the class? Why I have in the workshop? Why I have put this one? Why open issues in the regular paper? Normally people don't put it, but they are not future-oriented people. Whenever you put like open issues and challenges, then there are more readers who can read your paper because they are interested in new issues, and they want to start new research, and they want to build something on TX's edge computing and some device-to-device communication, all of that. So all of the issues are mostly related to quality of service. These issues must be built on your own experimental results. It should not be far away from, I mean, you must be highly connected, okay? This is not like if you are writing on Faculty of Computing and Informatics on University of Malaysia, Sabah, and then you start writing on biological some things, and then you start writing on another department. So things must be very well connected, okay? There must be huge connection in all parts of the paper. There must be cohesion. So you need to build on every single thing. That is somehow the skills of writing of any paper. So you need to be very much connected, okay? Don't disperse your readers, and don't disperse. If you are able to disperse your readers, you will not be able to publish your papers. You will never be published. You will never be able to publish any paper. So there must be a huge cohesion and connectivity, okay? And then conclusion. So this is very simple. Two graphs, my initial experimentations, and then it is done. So this is the easiest one, and this one is having huge impact actually. And this is basically a US-based magazine, and you can attract huge readers. You can have huge citations after some time. I have done this one around 2021. I mean, this is right now in publication stage, okay? It's not yet published, but I have put it in the Zarvi file, and I have put it on my ResearchGate, and you know, sometimes the magazine take a bit of time to be published, maybe 1 or 2 months to get it like practically done. In Communication Magazine and IEEE Network Magazine, that is quite fast. In the next week, you can see that one. But IEEE IT Professional Magazine takes some time. Another regular paper, which I want to just go about like in fastly and briefly. This is again a novel data segregation and classification technique. So you see the diagrams, okay? The diagram is so attractive, and the diagram is hugely attractive, okay? If you see like, just to show you why Why this? So diagrammatic representation of that one is important. And then a bit of analysis, okay? One table and then a bit of analysis, like there's two to three things, okay? Very much simple analysis, very simple analysis that I have done in this paper, and we go with packet delivery ratios, very simple. But this IEEE Electronics magazine doesn't have like a sort of limitations, okay? But most of the high impact magazines have huge limitations. Right now, the IEEE Communication magazine, Consumer Electronics magazine has also limitation. This has been published around 2015 or something, but right now IEEE Consumer Electronics has also the same limitations. Initially, when it was going to launch, like, and it has impact factor of around 3, there were no limitations actually. So I think these my practical papers can give you huge sort of like guidance, okay? Now coming up to one thing which is remaining is, and we will be doing somehow a practical hands-on this one, okay? You must be waiting how to write an abstract and an intro and a body and a conclusion. The rest of the code recipe I have shown you very clearly, okay? That needs to be very well in your mind. So the first thing is when you write an abstract, do you see my slides?
Yes, can see Dr. Adnan.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So the first thing is when you write your first sentence of abstract, that must be motivation. Okay, if I'm writing about University of Malaysia Sabah, so what is the attraction? What is the motivation, and what is the attraction point? So I need to write like University of Malaysia Sabah will be sort of like will be getting like hugely recognized among the universities. Will be internationally recognized. Some sort of like motivational sentence in the start of the abstract is extremely important. Keep in mind, this is extremely important. The first sentence must be a motivational sentence or an attractive point of your research. If you don't put this one, this is not systematic abstract actually. Keep in mind that the first thing is you need to attract your reader, okay? So you need to give him some attraction, some motivation. Why he reads your paper and why this paper is so important. Why University of Malaysia Sabah if you are writing on USM, okay? University of UMS, okay? So all these things are very important. The first thing is motivation. The second thing is the second sentence. So motivation can be 2 sentences also. I will be showing on my paper, and if you can write like a huge, there is one author that is known as Professor Raj Kumar. He has around 80,000 citation, and he is one of the globally recognized scholar in the world on number 1. He was previously given like the number 1 research scholar in 2019 and 20. Okay, and his research paper, I have learned all this from him actually. He was my supervisor actually in my PhD, together with so I have learned this one, and that's why I'm extremely great with writing scientific papers or technical papers or magazine papers, and also about funding. So I have learned a lot from him, and that's why I'm acknowledging in my presentation, because he's a huge inspiration. So you people are also very lucky that I'm talking about these things. So the first one is motivation. It could be 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, what you are talking about, issues are something that is relevant to your problem statement. Okay, problem statement can be extremely one. That should be always one problem. Okay, not. But issues surrounding the problem could be 1 or 2. So the good thing is when you talk about issues, then you can streamline in the third point your problem statement. So start with issues, and then the third line or the third or fourth line of an abstract should be problem statement. What is your problem statement? And the fourth one is how you're going to solve this problem, your methodology. So this one is extremely simple. If I can tell you that, if I can summarize it, like the first one is like motivation, okay, and that is very clear. Then issues surrounding your problem statement. So so the problem statement of like right now, the problem of faculty of computing and informatics is to is to be internationally recognized and is to be research excellence. Okay, that is the problem. But what are the issues? The issues of the faculty, they are not very good with the papers and publications. Okay, this is one issue. The second issue is they need a lot of like training workshops. That is the second issue. And the third issue is they need some scholars to be getting to the department. So these are the issues, but the problem statement is one. The faculty of computing and informatics should be nationally recognized with research excellence. That is the problem statement. So how you go to tackle this problem? That is the methodology. Okay. So we need to hire some great scholars around the globe. We need some great training skills to train our faculty and students. And we need a lot of encouragement, continuous monitoring and all that stuff to get our department like to be globally recognized and nationally recognized with research excellence. Finally, significance of your methodology. How significant is your methodology? That matters the most. Okay. This is normally done in any case. Whether you are writing a transaction paper or a journal paper, but with a slight variation. I will be showing that slight variation, and you can see it on my papers also. If you are seeing like a magazine, the final sentence of the magazine, if you are writing a tutorial paper, is you need to highlight that you have representing a plethora of open research challenges. Okay, that should be the final one. But if you are writing a regular magazine paper, then the same steps should be followed. Okay, so this should be no more than 7 sentences. The abstract should not go beyond 7 to 8 sentences maximum. So motivation can be 1 or 2 sentences, issues can be 1 or 2 sentences, problem statement should always be 1 sentence. Methodology can go beyond 1 and 2 sentences, but no more. And the final is the significance should be 1 sentence. Why you are significant, why your methodology is so great that people can come and read your paper. So if you write a systematic, if you are successful at writing a systematic abstract, your paper will be having hugely cited across the globe, and people can easily grasp it. So you should keep in mind this sort of like sequence of writing a systematic abstract. Okay, and if you have any questions, please write down your question. When you start an introduction, you will go with the same structure. Okay, but here there is one difference. Okay, these are sentences. All these are sentences. But when you start introduction, you need to write about paragraphs. Okay. So the first paragraph, for example, should be all about motivation. If you are writing about cloud computing or fog computing, it should all be about like what is the attraction in cloud computing? Why fog computing? Why Internet of Things? So the first paragraph should be motivation. Okay. That should come with here first paragraph. The second paragraph should be issues. You need to write about the relevant problem statement. For example, if you are writing on quality of service, so the quality of service related issues should be highlighted. If you are writing about security, then you need to highlight the security issues. Okay, and then the third paragraph should be exploration of your problem statement. Okay, and the fourth one should be always your methodology. How important is your methodology? What you are going to solve and how you are going to solve your problem. And one, in the significance, we always write contributions. Okay, why your methodology is so significant, why you are different from others, what new things you should brought to the journal. Okay, so these 5 paragraphs always comes up and then compose your introduction. And these are systematic things. You always go with these things. Okay, and even if you have smaller space, you can write 2 to 3 sentences paragraph. You don't need to write like 5 sentences paragraph. You can limit your paragraphs, but a systematic way is exactly like that one. And every paragraph should be connected with the connecting words. Okay, with connecting, for example, likewise, for example, additionally, for example, however, consequently, subsequently. All these words should be done to connect every single paragraph. Okay, so there must be a great cohesion between each paragraph, and the organization should be like that one. Okay, so it's done. The abstract is done. The introduction is done. Now the body always like with the A, B, C. So everybody is started with the abstract, like the one I told you in the C. One which I remember in the abstract is abstract is always abstract. You don't need to explain everything in the abstract. Abstract is something abstract. For example, if I'm talking about the abstraction of Faculty of Computing and Informatics, University of Malaysia, Sabah, I will be just highlighting like the apparent structure, but I will not telling you that Prof. Jason is leading this one and Prof. Abdullah Ghani is leading this one, and all these minor details cannot be mentioned in the abstract, because abstract is always an abstract level. You cannot go in details. You cannot highlight everything in your abstract, because that will actually stop your reader to go inside to read your papers. So you need to just apparently mention things, and on the abstract level actually. So body is always like with abstract, body, and conclusion. Every paragraph in the body is like starting with the parent abstract, then body, and then conclusion. So most of the paragraphs in the body structure is like on the ABC level. And conclusion, finally, the conclusion is whatever you have done. You can also write conclusion somehow with a parent abstract structure, but that should be on the past sentence. Okay. You can write, okay, you have tackled a very attractive problem, okay, in the paper, and you have your methodology was unique, and then your results are very much unique. So you need to sum up the whole paper in your conclusion, but again highlighting your contributions in the conclusion. I mean, briefly, not very well because you already done, but for example, I can give you an example of writing a conclusion paper. If I have done like something in the first sentence of the conclusion papers that my topic was extremely important, okay, that is again motivation. Then your methodology, the methodology I tackled was extremely unique. And then you talk about the results. The results are very much unique. And the final sentence of every conclusion should be your future remarks, okay? What you are going to embark on the next stage, what you are going to do on the next phase. We will be having hands on this one, okay? I don't know whether we have time today or not, but we will be certainly having practical hands on how to write these things, and I will be giving you some assignments so that you can literally do it. And finally, hands-on exercise on targeting a tutorial magazine paper. The best way is networking and collaboration. So if you have some friends, they can introduce you some great special issues or some of their coming special issues. And then you have time to prepare for that one. You have good time to prepare on that one. The second one is, if you are targeting IEEE Communication Magazine, go to the special issue section, and then you will have a lot of special issues, and target one of them. And sometime you can regularly publish a paper. You can just go for a regular submission for a regular paper. Okay. The paper I show you, my regular paper, is basically a regular magazine paper. It is not. I have never targeted in that case like a sort of like a special issue. Okay. But to go with tutorial, best way is special. Okay. Special issues can give you more opportunity to publish because targeting special issues is having less time, and if you are able to make them a good if you are targeting with a good time a special issue, normally the issues takes like around 4 to 5 months, and I told you a magazine paper cannot take more than 1.5 months. A tutorial paper, the maximum it can take 2 months. That is the maximum on my limit. Okay. And if I'm guiding you, it will not exceed more than 1.5 months. That is for any non-user or for any normal research or earlier career research. Okay, 1.5 months, the maximum time for a magazine tutorial paper. Somehow take very easy to compose a regular magazine paper. Special issues. In this case, regular venues are even better, but the topics, the topic importance are huge. If you are writing on a topic which is non-important, I mean, then it is it is not published. So topic importance are also extremely important. Okay. Thank you very much, and I'm extremely grateful to all of you. And I will be always beneficial for you people to have hands-on. I believe on hands-on, practical hands-on is very important. I have prepared some but difficult for you to carry on right now. So I will conclude my session right now, but I will be sending, or if it is possible, who want to carry on with us, like with me, they can go and see my papers, and they can just send me like the sketch of their paper, like how they want to and what kind of magazine paper they want to target. So anyone having anything in their mind, they can send me their sketches, and I can guide them with complete guidance, just in 5 minutes, how to go about your magazine paper. So you need to draw your sketch. Apparently, seeing my papers, actually, I have shown you everything on my papers. Okay, but you need to know right now to go on your practical things. Actually, I can also help you in targeting. I can show you that this is the target, but you need to disclose your mind, and you need to send me your sketch and at least your title, what you are planning to write a magazine paper on. Try to, for the early career researchers, I'm encouraging every one of you to start with a tutorial paper, and this could be any emerging topic. The topic should be very, very emerging. Keep in mind, the topic should be extremely emerging. Okay, and then if you I can give you the sketch. Okay, taxonometric classification is very important. Simplified overview is very important. Open-end research challenges is very important, and your sketching skills and diagrammatic skills are extremely important. Only these 4 things can give you, can help you writing a magazine paper, and it is quite easy than a conference paper. All of you, I'm encouraging you. It is more easier thing than a conference paper. And that's why I started this for the first time to introduce you, like writing magazine papers. So the limitations are quite good for you people. And if you write and if you sketch, if you are able to sketch your mind with a magazine paper, then writing paper and composing magazine 2 weeks, or maximum for an extreme early research in 2 months. If you see a paper which I paper, and I have published in a tier 1 magazine, and that gives me a huge encouragement to writing my papers, okay, on tier 1. So after that, I was so encouraged to go about this one, but I didn't have too much time because I have to keep it with so many other things, and but I can literally guide you so uniquely that it's easy for each one of you to write a paper, to write a magazine paper. So I can help you with we can have a session on and the conclusion one. So that needs a practical embarkment from a side. Must be motivated well to practical get into this one. Okay. I have given you a huge sort of like encouragement, and you can carry on. We can get in touch, and my papers are, anyone who needs my papers, I have already shared with the management. And if you have any questions, I am now opening my session to various kind of questions. Any question, anything in your mind, please ask your questions. Okay. And that will give you a next opportunity of learning. So anyone with any question, thank you very much for being so kind to me and for being so grateful audience. Please ask your questions. The floor is open for your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adnan. You have shared so much information with us, and I'm sure the participants find it very helpful, very useful. So yeah, we'd like to open for Q&A if you have any questions. If not, maybe I can start with the questions in the chat box first, Dr. Adnan. I read them out to you.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Sorry, your connection seems to be not very stable, Dr. Adnan. We lose you sometimes, cannot hear your speech and your video cuts out. But anyway, we try. Okay, the first question is from Dr. Esmadi. He's asking what is the limitation of table and graphs? I think it's the number of tables and graphs that you can have in the paper for magazine.
So the number of limitations is because it represents like a preliminary sort of tutorial paper and preliminary results regular paper. So you cannot exceed with maximum tables and graphs than 6. You cannot go beyond 6. So 6 is the limit in graphs. 6. So 6 is the limitation for most of the magazines.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Adnan. So I go to the next question. Okay, thank you, Dr. Adnan. So I go to the next question from Mohammad Suhairi. He's asking, let's say I'm not doing tutorial but experiment. Is it possible to publish the experiment, design, result, and conclusion to the magazine? And if published, can it be considered publishing article for PhD requirement?
Yes, so my answer is to definitely it is considered because this is basically, this can fulfill your KPI, and every magazine paper is considered towards the KPI. These are the same quartiles like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and if you have initial results, then the best way to publish it is, the best venue is to publish it as soon as possible is the magazine. So magazine is the best option for you if you want to familiarize towards your PhDs. I personally believe that it has always been counted in the University Malaya, and it will definitely be counted here. This is basically a research article. People across the globe take it as a research article. So I would encourage you, if you have some initial results, try to target a good magazine. Primary, you can have your magazine within 2 to 3 months and get it published. So you have a lot of advantages to go about it. And if you build your research in your PhD, starting from a magazine, and then you build with journal and transaction, that will be extremely huge, and it will give you a great career after your PhD.
Thank you, Dr. Adnan. So I think we move on now. We have some more questions from Dr. Esmadi again. For maximum 1.5 months to produce a complete magazine tutorial paper, how many hours per day should I deliberately invest in writing?
Okay, so for the initial thing, you must know your area of research, what you are doing your research. If that area is okay, I can tell you, if you just spend like 3 hours per day, that will be somehow within 1.5 months. You will be, for example, if you are writing your abstract and you know that you already has a sketch of the paper that, and your research area is very well known to you. So writing an abstract can maximally take like 1 hour, and then you can refine your abstract in the second hour, and then you can polish it in the third one. So you need to go about section wise. And if you go with the analysis or the architectural analysis, somehow you don't need to have a huge analysis because we have limitations. So you don't need to. So if you analyze 6 papers, so analyzing of 6 papers cannot go beyond 3 to 4 days. Even you analyze 1 paper per day, 6 papers will take maximum a week. And at the same day, you need to, whenever you go through a paper, you need to write it down and see the analysis and see some of the critical part of the paper. So you need to draw a table of critical analysis. That is must. So in this way, once you do these things and diagrammatic things, the sketches and the analysis and the taxonometric classification cannot go for more than 2 weeks or 1 week. I can personally share my experience. My first paper in my PhD, I have done it around like 2.5 months. Like it was started like in June. I did my first experience with a magazine paper I have written it in 2 months, and after that I have written one of my magazine paper in 3 weeks, one of my regular paper in 2.5 weeks that I have shown you in IEEE IT Professional, but I have definitely the initial results I have. So composing a magazine paper is extremely easy, and you can easily go about it. I would say after initially it will take some time. Maybe you can go with two months maximum. That's my experience, and definitely you can go even faster than that one. But you need a good focus. If you have a good sketch of your paper, you have already made the sketch, and then you can go about it like you need to sketch the diagram, like the abstract, the intro, the simplified overview, the taxonometric classification, and then the open challenges and conclusions. So you need six paragraphs. You need six sections, and if you are able to draw the 6 sections, then it is quite easy. I hope that satisfies the answers. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Adnan. So we have one more question from Puan Shaliza. How much is the average fees for publishing in a magazine?
Okay, so magazines are all free. There is no fee for magazine. Okay, all magazines are free. No need to have any sort of fee. So I have published all my magazine free. There may be some option for open access, but I have never been to that one. I don't know exactly, but I have done all of mine like free, and you always go with magazines like for free. I don't know. I have nothing in my mind for open access magazines right now, but definitely there will be open access magazine. I'm damn sure that there will be open access magazine, but from my side, I don't think so. Prof. Jason, I can tell you and all the audience, if I was present like in the University of Malaysia Sabah, like physically, this will be so huge session, and I will bring like practical papers, physical papers, and I distribute among you, and then we go with a lot of like experimentation, and this will be so huge fun. But unfortunately, I'm away, and at the moment I can just kind of share this kind of knowledge, but I'm certainly missing like to be physically with you people, and I can go every minor details, so that you can have a huge sort of like experience, and you can start literally after this session. You are going to start like your magazine paper. But I'm still available with any one of you. You can send messages to my WhatsApp. Anyone needs any help with sketches, diagrams, or sketching their magazine paper, or any kind of help you need, feel free to contact me. Okay, I will be glad to help you. And once you are trained, then you can train Sabah or across the globe. So my aim right now is to give you training on these things, and if I'm able to give you this I will be so happy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Adnan. Yes, we have some more. From Dr. Irvin, in your opinion, what is the best and quick way to identify emerging topic in certain field?
Okay, so I can give you an example. When I was doing my PhD in, so I used to saw the open issues in IEEE Communication Magazine. Any issue which is launching in IEEE Communication Magazine or IEEE Networks, depending on your area of research, the magazine can show you the emerging topic. At that time, SDNs were going to emerge. And the initial special issue on SDN was around the end of 2013, actually. It was started around 2009 and 10 and 11, but the practical emerging topics in SDN was literally launched in 2013. So I used to, and that's why I started my PhD in this area. And when I get into it, and practically I get into it, I got it that this is the huge area for future research, and it can go until 2050 or 2035 minimum. But now I can literally tell you that it can go until 2050, because SDN can integrate like cloud computing, fog computing, any kind of computing at the data plane. So the best way to see like an emerging topic is to see the special issues in IEEE Communication Magazine, IEEE Network Magazine, IEEE IT Professionals magazines. That is the best way you can have like some emerging topics. And when you get into a special issue, you always go down the topics. So you can see minor topics, all of them are emerging. All the special issues are only launched on the emerging topics. Keep in mind this thing, okay? That is my answer to that question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adnan. So I think in the chat box, we've covered all the questions. Do participants have any other questions to pose to Dr. Adnan, please? Okay, it seems like we have no more questions, Dr. Adnan. So we also look forward to you being here physically. So when can we look forward to that, Dr. Adnan?
Prof, This depends on the immigration things, and there are many things with Malaysia right now, and also the COVID restrictions and things. So the visa things are very complex right now to get into. But I'm trying my best. As soon as it is possible, I will be flying on the next day and be with you people.
All right, we look forward to that very much, Dr. Adnan. Thank you. Dr.
Yes.
Asmadi is asking, could you share the critical analysis table? Dr. Asmadi, is that in the slides? We will get the slides and share to everyone after this. Is that what you mean, Dr. Asmadi?
Can I
Not
say
really,
something?
Prof. Jason. Has been mentioned by Dr. Adnan as a tool to analyze the article that we read. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I have designed my own table of for analysis, and I used to teach in UK, Coventry University, UK. So I will give my table. I will share my table. There is a great table. So the table is basically you write the reference of the table, okay, the reference of your paper which you are going to analyze, and then you see the methodology of the paper, the contributions of the paper, the limitations of the paper, the pros and cons of the paper, and finally the extensions of the paper. What the person is going to have like the future. So there are 7 to 8 the table is designed like on 7 to 8 things on the top of the table, and then you need to see inside the paper only those 8 things. Sometimes you don't need to read the whole paper because you need to skim the paper sometime, and if you are going to read every single paper, that will taking huge time. So I will be sharing that table. That is my unique table, and I will be sharing with you people hopefully soon. Okay, that is table of analysis. So you can follow that one, and you can easily you can literally analyze using that table like magazine papers in 2 days. I can literally tell you, if using that table, you can have like table of analysis for your magazine paper ready in within 1 or 2 days. So that is easy. I will share with Prof. Asmadi. I will share with all of you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adnan. So we have another question from Dr. Irvin. What is the name of the drawing tools? Is it eDraw?
Yeah, it is eDraw. eDraw is one of the best tools, but try to download the professional version. Professional eDraw is great to draw diagrams. I'm a fan of this one personally, and if you see all my magazine papers, all the diagrams I have drawn in eDraw. But there are so many other than that one. You can go with the other one, but I'm a fan because it's easy. There is a lot of like help inside and huge help. All these taxonometric classifications, all drawn like in eDraw.
Okay, thank you so much again, Dr. Adnan. So any more questions for Dr. Adnan, please?
Okay, so one last thing I can help you with. Well, I just need to tell you that if you are not able to get the professional version of the eDraw, there is one site that is known as p30downloads.com. Although I don't know whether right now it is running or no, but you can have some from that site also. You can withdraw, and it is not very expensive one. And with the university, maybe if you can ask, they can also provide this kind of software. I don't know exactly, but I'm using professional eDraw.
Dr. Adnan, would you be able to enter the name of that other tool in the chat box so that they can maybe have a look? The one you mentioned just now? Would you just type it in the chat box or share the URL?
Okay, so if they write p30downloads.com, so www.p30downloads.com. I don't know whether it is right now available or not, but during I don't know right now. p30downloads.com. I think that won't be accessible right now. I don't think so. That won't be accessible right now.
All right, it's okay, Dr. Adnan. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
anyway.
so just Google eDraw professional. You will have it. It's an easy tool to find.
All right. So any more questions for Dr. Adnan? Okay, so I think that's all for the questions. So with that, I'd like to bring the workshop this morning to a close. I would like to once again thank Dr. Adnan very much for facilitating this workshop. as well as to all the attendees who have joined us for this program this morning. Dr. Adnan, we seem to have lost you again. So, okay, we got you back.
Thank you
Okay.
very much. Thank
Yeah,
you,
thank
Prof.
you.
Jason.
So
I'm grateful to all of you.
We look forward to your next series in this workshop, Dr. Adnan. Maybe we can do it in another month's time, maybe, for number 2 in your workshop.
Yes. Steps.
All right, okay. Yeah, your connection
Yes,
is not very good, Dr.
can do it
Adnan. Yeah, okay. All
next
right, thank you.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you again. Take care. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you, Dr. Adnan.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Prof, we
Dr.
can do it
Adnan, Prof.
Thank you,
Jason.
Dr.
next month,
Adnan.
definitely,
Thank
yeah.
you, Prof. Jason.
Thank you.